During my Euro trip last month, I found a couple of tech people at conferences and I wanted to know from them what makes software projects successful. My name is Till Carlos and I care about team efficiency of software teams. And in this post, we're going to explore what makes software projects successful. And I first want to dive into why this is actually important. Because there's a certain principle, it's called the Anna Karenina principle. All successful families are alike and all unsuccessful families are unhappy in their own way. And I adapted this to all successful projects are alike and all unsuccessful projects fail in their own way. And what we can do here is just get the success factors and for our own projects, make sure that those things are true and we have a higher likelihood to succeed. So I asked those guys here in the Ruby conferences, and the first one is Laurent Waits.
So the differentiator might be just, honestly, of the team that's involved in delivering it. Are they really cohesive? So a successful project, it might not be the fastest to market, or it might not be, but the love that gets put into it. If you have a team that really honestly can work together and appreciate each other, and then really understand and respect the various different ways in which the pieces are being written that other team members are using and developing and so on, then the beauty is that on down the road, as the team might change around, you have some of the same people around or whatever, the respect that they've had in the past for how it got coded, then it's not going to turn into this like spaghetti pile of jumbled weirdness. Instead, it'll actually be everybody is trying to keep the same ethos as they code, and it's supported for 5-10 years or who knows how long. It could be then a long, much longer term project that way.
Cohesive team definitely makes sense. I think this will come up quite a bit more often in our post.
I don't think there is a golden rule for project success. I think it's being at the right place in the right time. And this can change over time. So I don't see any real recipe for that. To be honest, I know there are people saying you need to have the right people, you need to have funding, etc. But all these effects, they add up. But you can't tell this makes project successful. There is no single thing.
Moritz for sure has enough experience to talk about this. He has run many projects. And I think this is interesting. Makes me think about stories of startups that are engineered in a really great way. They have great landing pages, great UX, but they still fail because they're not there at the right place at the right time.
The succeeding projects, even in open source, are always those where the different perspectives come together and where it's not like it's purely tech-driven or purely design-driven or purely business-driven, but you need to balance all of these things, and I think that's probably one of the things that are important.
I'm not sure if I agree with this, just because I think a team consisting of only one kind of person with a clear goal can still work. What do you think? Please leave a comment below, and also if you see me on Twitter, just write a tweet. I'll be very curious about your opinion.
So the thing is, what I'm really looking back is a project back in the days where we were working on an API that was used by football clubs' apps. So basically like Borussia Dortmund, HSV, so they have an app for all their fans, and they can then real time see what what the team is doing in football. So it's a huge chunk of data that we chunked through and served. I don't have the numbers, but it was an immense amount of data that we were crunching, and also then funneling through that we are sending through. Exactly. There's some push notifications through our customer apps, so that they know their team scored a goal. And there was a huge challenge because you need to be as fast as the television. So if you're public watching and people are yelling as we want to go, then the push notification needs to be there, right? So we made it. We needed some tweaks, but that was a success. It was great.
Why was it a success?
Because we made it in time, and it was a challenge to actually be that fast, and it was. I guess it was for me a success because it was technically it was a challenge, and we managed it. So that's success.
This is more of an example here, and it's really great to hear this, that something that he built actually worked in such a great way and be able to respond real time and deliver on on deadline. This always makes me smile. Huge factor, having a clear deadline, and that's a real deadline, not an artificial one set by some manager who wants to get their numbers up. A real deadline where something needs to be delivered. Everybody buys into that deadline, and that means that the development team is able to put a lot of effort and able to work focusedly on something. But then also this means hitting the deadline definitely means that also the product owners and the product sponsors are able to dial down the scope a bit to make that even happen.
Well, the probably most successful project started actually as a side project. That's one of the, like a 3-day side project turned into the CDK for Terraform, which got adopted by HashiCorp. And well, that's why I spent essentially like 2 years at HashiCorp. But it was really like a small, really like 2 or 3 days, doing something, publishing on Twitter, getting picked up by people in the community, and then well, things happened, door got opened, and yeah, that's the most successful project.
Well, this is for sure a successful project for Sebastian. I don't know if that actually means that the project itself was a success in terms of what the business goal it reached. But I find this is a great example because Sebastian was able to find a job through this. I mean, he's an amazing developer, so he could probably find a job in other ways as well. But this is a reminder of everyone wanting to find a job in the software development space. Make something that people value, make something that people appreciate. It doesn't need to be super productive. It can be like an open source package that other people use. And just make it just because you are passionate about it. Don't make it in a way to kind of just hit a box on your CV. That usually don't work. But something where you're passionate about, and yeah, this is how he got the job. It's actually a cool story.
So for me, the most successful projects are first project that had like a clear reason for existing. Like we made this project because there was like this clear reason for this project to exist. It wasn't just that's interesting. The other reason is projects that succeed, in my opinion, are projects that have time frames. Like they are not like open-ended, they are like a bit more like clear scoped. So those two properties for me are like the requisite of like a successful project. Sometimes you can go to like inspiration mode and things like, oh, we have no idea, we just want to explore stuff. For me, the best thing to do is like a hackathon project where you have the time about, okay, for 2 days we need to experiment of something, test it out, see how it goes. But still you need either a good time frame where you can stop working on something, or you need like a very clear goal of like what we actually want to build. And apart from that, giving freedom to the team to adjust things like how this thing is going to work, what's the exact scope. Like the thing that the team actually has value in is the scope. Like, oh, can we add like the CSS animation, or we do like some more intelligent algorithm for something. But the key things is you have to know like why do you need something, can be time bound.
I couldn't break this down better. You need to know why you do something, and then need a clear scope that's realistic and that you can actually reach. I love this thinking of Rado. He has a great newsletter. It's called Rado's Tips. Let me see if I can find it. This is his newsletter, and I can only advocate for this. Really good content there.
The thing that I noticed in two projects like this is that the programmers, they were quite obsessed with the quality of their code. But at the same time, while this is the main thing that I'm seeing, I don't think that only this made that project successful, but it's the only thing that I can think about now.
Yeah, of course, it's not the only thing, but obsession over quality usually does not fail someone. He's working at Shopify, so I guess quality is a huge thing with them. They need to get it right because of their scale. Yeah, I think that's one of the factors.
Maybe I'll start with what I think are some healthy preconditions for success. And the first is, if you can keep the team small, that's going to be a massive lift, because as you increase lines of communication, as you increase the number of people that you need to get and keep on the same page, just the difficulty around communication, like what are we doing, why are we doing it, why are we taking this path and not that path, becomes so hard and so tiresome that it's just easy to stray off of the successful path.
That's a good reminder. 2 full-time senior engineers can do more than 4 part-time even senior engineers, for sure. That's a reminder for me because I recently added another team member to a project, and I have to see how that goes. What's your opinion on this? I would love to get your take on what you think makes projects successful, and also specifically to the team size. Do you think it helps if you add more people to it? If you want to learn how to start a successful project, there are some project kickoff templates, and there's also a video explaining all this that you can watch right here.